We all think we know New York City, right? Especially around the holidays. It's all glass towers, crowded subways, a place where, honestly, a miracle could happen and we'd probably just call it a coincidence. But what if the city's real holiday magic isn't in those big, flashy displays? What if it's hiding in plain sight? And that just nails it, doesn't it? I mean, this city is a constant witness to everything. Hopes rising up like skyscrapers, hearts breaking on a cold park bench. It's seeing kindness in the smallest gestures, and love disguised as just part of the daily routine. It's a city that's pretty sure there are no surprises left. And that's a fascinating question, isn't it? What if the most powerful magic isn't some grand gesture we see in the movies, but it's in those small, quiet moments that we so often just miss? Well, that's where we meet a very different kind of Santa Claus. He's not coming in on a sleigh with a bunch of reindeer. Nope. He shows up with something way more ordinary, maybe a broom or a camera or a deli apron. And he comes with this quiet certainty that every single person out there deserves to be seen. I just love this idea. The magic isn't about being some big spectacle. It's about being subtle. It's all about those little nudges, The ones that point a tired soul back towards hope, and they arrive so quietly you might not even realize they were ever there. So how does he pull it off? Simple. He blends in. He wears 1,000 different faces, 100 different uniforms, and just becomes part of the city's background noise. You've probably already passed him, holding a door, sweeping a floor, maybe even handing you your morning coffee. Just think about it for a second. He could be that guy in the faded red hoodie on the A train, or the new doorman on Fifth Avenue who somehow knows your name without you ever telling him. Or maybe he's that photographer on the Brooklyn Bridge who seems to capture a whole lot more than just a picture. He is literally everywhere and nowhere, all at once. And his method? It's as simple as it is powerful. It always starts with just watching, seeing the invisible burdens that people are carrying around. Then, he arrives without any fanfare, offers a tiny, almost invisible nudge, and then he's gone before anyone can even think to thank him. For him, it's all about the effect, not the credit. So, okay, let's see how this actually plays out in some real stories. And these are not tales of gifts wrapped up in shiny paper. No, these are stories about hearts being rediscovered, about burdens being lifted, and about memories being returned right at the exact moment they were needed the most. So, picture this. There's a young woman on the A train. She just completely bombed her last big audition, her ankle is sprained, and to top it all off, her teacher basically told her to pick a new dream. She is the absolute picture of defeated, just trying to hold it all together on a crowded train. And then, a man in a red hoodie leans over and says this to her. Not with pity, not with anything like that, but with this quiet, firm wisdom. It's such a simple phrase, but for her, in that moment, it's a lifeline. He sees not who she is right then, but who she could be. And then comes the nudge. When she finally gets off the train, she finds this perfect, gleaming pair of satin ballet shoes in her bag. There's a little note with them that says, "For the next stage you step onto." And just like that, her ankle stops hurting. It's so much more than a gift. It's permission to keep on believing. Okay, so our next story takes us to Fifth Avenue. There's a widower, Mr. Gordon, who's lived in the same apartment for 42 years. His wife, who is the one who filled their home with music, she died back in the spring. And he hasn't played a single record since. He's just lost in this silence that feels absolutely permanent. This is the note he finds. It's tucked inside a small package, handed to him by the building's mysterious new doorman. And the message is so simple, so direct, but it speaks right to the deepest part of his grief. So he opens the package, and inside is the original pressing of their record, the one that cracked years ago, a copy he could never ever find. It's a real, tangible piece of his past, a connection to his wife that finally brings music back into his silent apartment. For our last story, we're heading to the Brooklyn Bridge. There's a woman just standing there, completely lost in grief. Her father had passed away that very morning, and she came to the bridge because, well, she just didn't know where else to go to put all her sorrow. An old photographer on the bridge comes up to her and says this. He just gets it. He knows that sometimes the best gift isn't something new, but something precious that we've lost along the way. His camera, it seems, doesn't just see the present, it sees the past.
The photo he hands her, it isn't of her standing there on the bridge. It's a forgotten memory. It's her as a 6-year-old, laughing in her father's arms while they decorate a Christmas tree. He didn't just give her a picture. He gave her back a piece of her dad.
So, what do all these stories really tell us? I mean, it's pretty clear that this Santa's work goes way beyond just giving gifts. The magic isn't in the objects themselves, right? It's in what they represent.
And this really shows you the difference, doesn't it? We usually think of Christmas gifts as, toys, electronics, stuff like that. But this Santa, he deals in a totally different currency. It's hope for a dancer, a second chance at joy for a widower, a priceless memory for a grieving daughter. These aren't gifts that just change your day. They change your life. And this right here, this gets to the very heart of his whole philosophy. Christmas isn't really about the celebration. It's about recognition. It's that simple, profound act of just seeing another person, truly seeing their story, their struggle, and that little spark they still have inside. All of this leads to a pretty powerful new way of thinking about the holiday spirit, and maybe what Santa himself is really all about. This is it, Santa's mission in his own words. His job was never about delivering packages from a workshop. It's about restoring what's been lost, a dream, a purpose, a voice. It's about reminding people of who they really are when the world has done its best to make them forget. And maybe that's the real message in all of this. The world doesn't need more spectacle, it needs more gentleness disguised as ordinary life. The magic isn't just for one man in a red suit. It's in the quiet kindness that we can all offer each other, any day of the year. We'll end with this blessing from Santa himself, because if you look closely enough, especially in a city that's convinced it's seen everything, you just might find a little bit of magic waiting for you, too. Merry Christmas.